You followed every rule, you checked every box, you have the paper trail to prove it. But now, that same paper trail is being used as your noose. Welcome to the system's favorite game, the game where doing everything right is the fastest way to be proven wrong. If you're watching this, one of these three things just happened to you. 1, your project blew up and everyone agrees you followed the process. That's now your problem. 2, you got a directive that made no sense, you followed it anyway, and now you're the one explaining the disaster. Or 3, you avoided every official pitfall only to get punished for a crime that wasn't in the rule book. You thought the process was your shield. It was. But in this system, shields are reusable. They just hand yours to the next person after they've used it to point at you. Let's cut through the corporate poetry. Systems don't care about how things get done. They care about what happens. The process is just the cover story for a much simpler law. When something fails, someone must be found holding the knife. Think of your perfect compliance report not as a defense document, but as a confession written in advance. It's a map that shows investigators exactly where you were standing, what buttons you pressed, and crucially, that you were the one who pressed go when everything stopped. Here's the first rule they never tell you. The more perfectly you follow a bad plan, the more completely you own the failure. But what happens when that failure isn't yours to own? What happens when the plan is designed to fail from the start? Take the IT engineer who gets blamed for a data breach. He can show every security protocol was followed. The hack used a new method, one the old rules didn't cover. So what's the conclusion? Our processes were inadequate. And who owns those processes? The team that followed them. Your flawless execution just proves the flaw was in the system, and you are the system's hands. Your perfect work is the best evidence against you. Now let's talk about why this always happens. When there's a crisis, a lost client, a public scandal, a tanking stock price, the system has one priority: find a story and a body. The story must be simple. The body must be available. That's where you come in. You're not being punished for breaking a rule. You're being sacrificed because you are the most logical place for the story to end. Look at Wall Street. A trader loses a fortune using a strategy that was approved by risk, compliance, and God. When the regulators come, the bank doesn't defend the trader. It gives them the trader. The $1 million fine isn't for not following steps. It's for failing to manage risk. They've swapped a small factual question for a giant philosophical one you can never answer. And your meticulous rule following just made you the perfect clean answer. You followed the map off the cliff. But here's the catch. Was that map even meant to guide you? Now, they need someone to blame for the fall, and your name is on the map. Here's the cruel, simple math of modern work. Competence plus visibility equals liability. The better you are, the harder it is to escape the spotlight. But who really controls that spotlight? The better you are at your job, the clearer it is that the failure happened on your watch. Your diligence builds your own cage. So what do you do when the spotlight turns from your work to you? First, stop saying, "I followed the process." You're just reading your own guilty verdict out loud. Instead, start asking the question they're avoiding. What was the process designed to do, and why did it fail this time? Shift the conversation from your actions to the system's design. You're not defending yourself. You're conducting an autopsy on a broken machine, and you just happen to be the last operator. Second, Become a historian of context. Your defense isn't in the rule book. It's in the emails, the rushed deadlines, the ambiguous approvals, the budget cuts. Your job is to rebuild the chaotic reality they're trying to delete. Don't say, I'm not guilty. Say, here is the ecosystem that produced this result. Make the story messy again. Complexity is your armor. Third, understand your role. You are not a scapegoat. That's emotional. You are a designated pressure valve. Your skills made you reliable. Your reliability made you predictable. Your predictability made you the perfect component to absorb the shock when the machine overloads. This isn't about you. It's about physics. While you're figuring this out, 3 comforting lies will get in your way. Lie number 1, the truth will come out. It won't. The system needs a useful story, not a true one. Your truth is an inconvenience. Lie number 2, this will make them fix the process. It won't. Punishing you is how they fix the process. It proves the failure was human, not systemic. You're not a lesson, you're an alibi. Lie number 3, I'll be the cautionary tale. You're not a tale, you're a receipt. Proof that the bill was paid so everyone else can move on. Now your paths are narrow and they all suck. Path A, the quiet exit. Take the blame, accept the sidelining, become a ghost in the machine. But here's the question. What happens when you disappear? Who replaces you and what do they take with them? Cost, you trade your career for a paycheck. You become a warning to others permanently. Path B, the strategic surrender. Negotiate the blame from your fault to a shared problem. Cost, you save your skin but lose your status. You'll be marked as political, untrustworthy with real responsibility. Path C, the quiet rebellion. See this as your final warning. Your greatest skill, following orders, has become your greatest liability. Start looking for an exit to a place that values judgment over obedience. Cost, starting over, but it's the only way to stop being the system's favorite fuse to blow. This is the core paradox of power. The system rewards you for following orders, then abandons you for following them. But what happens when the orders themselves are designed to break you? Who's the real architect behind the game? Which leads to the ultimate suicidal question the system forces you to ask. If doing everything by the book leaves you holding the bag, then what about when you're just doing what you're told? If the rule follower is sacrificed, what fate awaits the simple soldier? This is the trap that closes around everyone who thinks obedience is safety. We dismantle it in the next chapter. L3-13. Why carrying out orders is still your responsibility. Because an order is just a suggestion until someone has to go to jail for it. And the system already has your name on the cell.